Welcome to the AI4EU Cafe today. It's the 11th of November. Slowly the attendees come in. We are aware that we have bank holidays in some European countries, so I hope we have a nice audience. Welcome who makes it. We're waiting about 2 minutes more and then we start. So I welcome you all. In a moment, we are 26 participants. We're very happy to welcome you in today's session called AI4EU Strategic Vision. Speakers are Michela Milano from University of Bologna and Sonia Silla from Siemens in Germany. I'm your moderator. Please take notice that this session will be recorded. The recording of this live web session will be available afterwards on the AI4EU platform. No confidential information shall be shared in this cafe session. I wish you a very, very intensive time because we want to make it a debate. We would like that you ask questions as much you like. You can ask questions on the right side in the control panel, labeled questions. You can type them in. And you also can raise your hand if you feel like you have to say something. And what is the cafe about? Some of you have been here. It's an online forum for public debate on the AI4EU platform. The idea is to gain insight into the European AI scene, share knowledge, and meet stakeholders. And today we want to kick off the discussion on this strategic paper and continue the debate after on this AI4EU platform. You can see in the slide a link, but it will be also sent to you after this live presentation. And I wish you a good time. Now I want to introduce the speakers. You're so kind to be here. So Michela Milano, she's a full professor at the Department Computer Science and Engineering of University of Bologna. She's deputy president of EuroAI, European Association of Artificial Intelligence, and executive counselor of the Association for the Advancement of Artificial Intelligence. She's the editor-in-chief of the Constraint Journal, past area editor of Informs Journal and Computing, and member of the editorial board of ACM Computer Surveys. Also, she has published over 150 papers on international conferences. She has been the recipient of the Google Faculty Research Award on Deep Opt, embedding deep networks in combinatorial optimization, and coordinated and participated in many EU projects. She will speak soon, but also I would like to introduce Sonia Silla from Germany, from the company Siemens. She studied mathematics and psychology and accomplished her PhD in computer science, specializing on the topic of semantics. She's senior key expert in the field of semantic technologies and artificial intelligence of corporate technology, Siemens AG, and the chief editor of the Strategic Research, Innovation and Deployment Agenda of the AI-PPP, and leading editor of the Strategic Research and Innovation Agenda of the Big Data Value Association, BDVA. So now, today, only you see me. We decided that we will shut off the video because due to bandwidth and Michela will now take over. All the participants are muted. Only the presenters can speak, but there will be always time in the session where you either can raise your hand or we read your questions from the control panel. So I wish you a good time. And dear Michela, do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Great. So Michela takes over. She will now present you this vision document. Thank you. I give it. And we have to wait. It really works. You are now, Michela, you are now the presenter.
Okay. So do you see my screen?
I don't see it yet. Yes. Perfect.
Good. Okay, so
goodbye from this camera.
Okay. Thank you, Carmen. So hello, everybody. So this is the first Word Cafe on this vision document. So the vision document has been edited inside the AI4EU project, and in particular in the WP9 Word package. Sonia Silla is also here, and she will step in case she wants to add something. The idea is to share with you the context in which this document has been created, the process that we followed, and then we dig into the content of this document. Then I will tell you which are the next steps and how you can possibly contribute to the next documents for the AI4EU project. So every now and then I will stop for in case you have questions. So I will stop and take your questions that you can type in the panel of this GoToWebinar tool. Okay, so AI4EU, as you know, is the European AI on Demand platform project. It's meant at delivering basically a platform that will be a connector for the many communities that are working around AI, and also for creating a unique point for collecting tools, assets, data sets, courses, and to put together and to connect the people in companies, research centers, and all stakeholders around AI. So basically, the AI4EU project has in its grant agreement with the Commission, we have to write 3 documents. The first one was very soon, in the first 6 months of the project, and is a vision document. It's a very high-level document where we try to foresee which is the main strategies for the European vision on AI, and also try to understand how the platform can fit in this vision and how can help to foster this vision. The second and the third document will be released in 2020 and 2021 in June, and basically they will be the real strategic research and innovation agenda that will be much more concrete with specific actions, and basically they will be more detailed. So the vision document is a high-level document that contains strategic directions, and also will consider how the platform will help in this achieving this strategic direction. The second thing that I wanted to tell you is about very shortly about the process that we have followed for creating this document. We have started during the kickoff meeting of the AI4EU project in Barcelona. It was in January this year. And basically in Barcelona, we collected through Word Cafe, 6 Word Cafes, feedback from partners on which direction were considered the most important and where the European AI on Demand platform could contribute. So after this World Cafe in Barcelona, we have collected all together the feedback that we received from the participants, and then we consolidated them and presented them to Executive Board in Paris in February. We started a couple of web conferences with WP9 partners, so partners of the work package dedicated in AI4EU to the strategic research and innovation roadmap. And but the largest part of the contributions came from the Paris workshop that we have done in May this year, where a lot of people contributed with a starting draft document, contributed with many interesting inputs and comments. So we again, we went back to the Executive Board with an almost final version that has been submitted to the reviewers and has been delivered at the Commission at the beginning of July. So now from that deliverable, we have created this public document, which is a vision document. It can be downloaded from the AI4EU platform. And there is also an open discussion link that Carmen has shown you before, where you can contribute with your comments, suggestions, inputs on the document itself. And we will take all this input for feeding the next version of the next document that will be the Strategic Research and Innovation Agenda. So I think this is a good opportunity for each of you to contribute to this process and these documents. Now we are also interacting with the Commission to try to understand which are the main directions that we have to follow for creating a document that is useful for them, and in particular for shaping the Horizon 2020, the Horizon Europe Work program, to understand how we can follow up this AI4EU project, how the platform can survive and be sustainable after the end of the AI4EU project. Okay, so this is basically the context. Maybe if you have already some questions on the context, I'm here for taking them. If no questions, I can go on digging a little bit inside the document content. If you want to have some questions, I think that you can type them in the panel. Okay, so since there are no questions on this contextual information, so I will start going into the details in the document itself. So there is an executive summary at the beginning that I will mainly skip because I want to go directly into the detail of this vision document. And we have basically a first chapter that is on the vision for AI in Europe. So we kind of try to understand which is the status quo, which are the strengths of Europe and its weaknesses. And also we have tried to identify some priorities. And in chapter 3, we have tried to understand how the AI on demand platform can help to foster this vision and can help to pursue some of the priorities that have been identified in chapter 2. And then I will talk a little bit about the next steps that should be taken into account to converge to this strategic research and innovation agenda, which is the main document that should be released by the AI4EU project. Okay, so basically the main thing is that Europe is in a great competition with United States, with China, for becoming a central point where artificial intelligence is developed, is deployed, and where we have really, a leadership in this human-centered AI. And human-centered is very important because Europe has identified in its high-level expert group guidelines, it has identified as trustworthy AI one very important pillar. So I will want to skip here. So here we have that we have many strategic actions that should be prioritized. One is about community building. So the first thing which is very important is that we really have to create a European community which is not scattered, it is not fragmented, and we have really, and this is one of the primary goals of the AI4EU platform and project, aggregate all the stakeholders around AI, put together expertise, and put together people in industry, research centers, and the public sector, which is very important. The second important pillar are the startups. So really we need to have some, we need to help many startups for using AI technology, developing AI technologies, and we can provide some tools through the AI Fundament platform for these startups to ease this process. We have to take into account European values, because we have to really take into account all the guidelines that have been delivered by the high-level expert group concerning trustworthy AI, and we, you know, in Europe we value the privacy, for example, data privacy. We value many, values that are not considered as important in other parts of the world, and we have to incorporate all these European values by design in AI technologies and tools, and the platform will try to promote this. We need to maintain European leadership in the technology development and also foster technology uptake. That is very important for both in industry and public institution, for the development of safe and secure what is called minimum viable AI products. Talents and skill are the last point. So we are very good at generating talents. Our university is very strong, but we also have to retain talents in Europe, and skills also are very important to be shaped around the new landscape of AI technology that will be ubiquitous in our society. And we have not only to consider skills in school and university, but also what is called training on the job, so for people that is already working. And for this, also the AI on demand platform can help a lot. So in the first chapter, we have tried to understand where we are now, so the status quo. And we have tried to understand how Europe can become a global leader in the development and deployment of responsible and trustworthy AI tools. And basically, the trends are that we have a very strong, some strengths that are crucial for the development of this vision. And also we have to counterattack in a way the dominance of US and China in artificial intelligence development. So we really have to try to deal with this dominance. So the thing that we have to do is to focus on our European strength. And let me take some of them. So research in Europe has a very strong tradition. We have that our archival conference, ECAI, European Conference on Artificial Intelligence, in its first the first ECAI conference was organized in 1974. And basically, the EURAI, which is the European Association of Artificial Intelligence, is one of the world's largest scientific associations. We count more than 4,500 members across 30 countries. Also, there is a recent survey by Elsevier that says that from bibliometric data that cover years from 1997 to 2018, Europe ranks first worldwide in terms of published AI research papers, and also their impact is very high. Also, many artificial intelligence methods and tools are rooted in European universities, and not only those that are like semantic technology, the semantic web, Prolog, for example, have been devised in Europe, but also deep learning that we think is a tradition of United States or China is originated from the work in Europe. So really we have a very strong background in research, and also for 20 years we have a lot of research in cognitive systems, robotics, their application that is really that has led Europe to be one of the most important places where these technologies are developed. We have many very important national research centers that are big, and they concentrate many talents in artificial intelligence. We have a robust university system with many universities covering and offering innovative AI courses. And also we have many success stories that show that indeed we can do the difference. For example, we have in France, we have the Direction Interministérielle du Numérique has launched a digital service incubator for startups to help them their development. We have the French open data portals with more than 60 projects on data on all topics of digital transformation. And we have also a very interesting experiment in Finland where Elements of AI is an online course for raising the awareness of the people, citizens that are not ICT experts, that are not AI experts, to understand, what is AI, what we can do with AI, and what are the potential of this technology. We have some sectors that are really strong, like, for example, AI-driven automation, that is a significant opportunity for Europe. There are also major gaps, and these major gaps are, for example, the fact that we have fragmented AI research landscape. So the situation in Europe is that we have a very strong research landscape, but this is very fragmented. We have many different small labs where AI is developed, and there is a very strong AI research, but basically the community is not very glued and not very, how can I say, put together. And this is one of the major gaps that we have to overcome. We have difficulties in scaling startups. So we have that Europe is very good in how to create new startups, but basically the problem is to scale up these startups. So the funding in particular is a problem, and we have also that we have to help startups in two things. One is selling their products, and second, having an exit strategy at some point, where, for example, for US and Asian players, they are always the one that will at the end control and acquire these startups, and we have to keep them in Europe. Also, there is a limited uptake of AI technology. So, for example, a recent study of McKinsey says that there is a very limited uptake of AI technology. For example, European countries are capturing just the 12% of their digital potential, whereas, for example, United States are capturing more than 65%, which is, of course, something that we have to work on. We have, of course, we have to improve the access to data and knowledge sources that are one of the most important fuel of AI tools. and basically if we don't have data, available data, then this poses a significant barrier to the development and deployment of AI products and services. Also, there is the last point, which is the instability of funding. And this means that for what concerns research, for example, there is a lot of time that is wasted in creating and proposing projects and to acquire funding for continuing this research. And this is, of course, a barrier specifically for small groups that require, of course, a significant amount of overhead for the preparation of these calls, national and European project calls. While, for example, for other disciplines, there is, fundings are more stable. They are provided with without spending so much time and effort in creating proposals. And also, last but not least, we have a limited industrial investment, while in United States and Asia, they are around 20.2 to 18 billion euros, and Asia between 6.5 and 9.8. It is estimated that in Europe we are around 2.5 to 3.3 billion internal corporate investment, which is, of course, less than a quarter compared to the other competitors. So, of course, these are the strength and the weakness, and on top of this, so after these priority areas, I will stop for a while for asking you if you have questions. So these priority areas, that are the one that I covered just before, are meant to overcome the weaknesses that have been identified. Like an ecosystem creation is meant to, of course, to overcome the problem of a fragmented research landscape, of a fragmented research community, and a fragmented community overall, not just a research one. So we have really to put together healthy ecosystem, an AI ecosystem that connects researchers that are performing a research from the first technology readiness levels, like 1 to 3 to 4, to business domain that take these up to higher technology readiness level, up to 10, of course. And there are technical domains, developers, AI-related community, and the public sector that should all be kept together for foster and grow the European AI community, enable collaboration, create new services, business opportunities, and in general provide benefits. The second part is on startups. So we have seen that Europe has difficulties in scaling up startups. So we have to understand how to facilitate them to access the European market, and also how to really create a market for startup acquisition. So not just launching them, but also how to to give them an effective exit strategy. Then we have the data. So we can see that data are one of the most important enablers for facilitating. Of course, access to data is an enabler for ensuring the development of AI tools. But we need to ensure data protection, privacy according to GDPR, and we have to respect what are these European values and European law that is behind the data. Transparency and openness. So so in general, these technological transformations have basically considered that, so basically they have developed tools that are not transparent, they are not open. So it is important for the public interest to have open tools that have public accessibility, democratic accountability, and oversight of digital data. And this is something that also the European AI on Demand platform can foster. We have to rely on European values that are the ones that are also contained in the ethical guidelines that have been provided by the European Commission to have AI which supports ethical, secure, and cutting-edge AI made in Europe. And also we have to foster we have to foster talents and skill. We have to grow the number of talents that we are forming, and also we have to change the way skills are created, not only around ICT expert, but also in general, in the general public, and also in the final users of these technologies. And we will have to consider technology and technology uptake so that to, for the technology, we have to basically push Europe to become a leader in AI research in Europe, basing on the AI research that has a long and successful tradition. But we have to keep on keeping this technology development very excellent, and also try to export this technology outside. Okay, so now these are the main priorities. So before going to the AI on demand platform and how this AI on demand platform can help in achieving this vision, I want to ask you if you have questions. I see a couple of them.
Carmen, I read them, yes. Shall I read them? Or do you want?
Yeah, sure.
I read. So here's Francesco Kienzler. He asks, how does this document fit to those produced by the high-level HLD on AI, as well as other documents produced by the European Commission?
Do you want me to answer, Sonia? Do you want to say something?
Yeah, I'm happy to step in. So this is Sonia. There's a strong link from this vision document with a high-level expert group document. So you know there have been 2 versions which have been published by now. The first one is about the Trustworthy AI guidelines. You have seen already some that we are referencing, and then we are building upon what high-level expert group is saying in this document. The second deliverable of the high-level expert group was about policy recommendation, and this was, I think it was published after we have submitted our deliverable. So basically there was no chance to align the 2 documents content-wise. However, what I would like to share with you is that we have a lot of authors of the high-level expert groups are also contributors from the visioning document, and also the reviewers are from the high-level expert group. The one reviewer is like from, I think, the author of the high-level expert group. So there's a strong overlap in terms of people contributing to both documents, which means that there's a close interaction from the European Commission. Supported or encouraged us strongly to have a close link to the high-level expert group, which we did. So basically, this is also something where we get recommendations or like guidance or requests from European Commission to do like this. And in terms of the other documents which are produced by the European Commission, whenever there is a communication from the European Commission, this is something which is like the European strategy, and this was something which we referenced and which we build upon because we are a European initiative. I hope this answers the question.
Yes, I now answer for Francesco. So if you don't feel like, raise your hand or write something new. Yes, thanks, Francesco.
Welcome.
It works. Yeah, it's a little bit awkward, but that's how it works. And anybody has another question? There was, of course, from Francesco. Also, he asked,
Here. You cannot access the discussion without registering on the platform, correct? Yes, it is correct. Let me say something about this. So now the platform is in its very first beta version. So on the platform there are only community building tools. So there are also, services. So on the platform there will be a lot of new services concerning tools, concerning I mean, other ways of interacting between people. There will be assets uploaded there, but this is just a first version. But still, if you want to register, you can participate to the discussions that are there. You can put your comments on the document. And basically you can start working on that right now. So when you connect to www.ai4EU.eu, you can register, and then you can access all the discussions that are there and contribute to them.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. So
can I have a question? I, as the organizer, just because it's not everybody is from inside. Some are here public, from outside. Can you just give an example of trustworthy AI? What's in your mind? I mean, maybe an example.
Okay. Do you want me or Sonia? Do you want to do that? Do you want me to do that? Okay. So I can say that something. So basically, the thing is the following. So artificial intelligence will be, spread in many parts of our life. It will be contained in cars, in mobile phones, and everything. So basically, the thing is that, for example, in many cases, AI tools will take decisions on our behalf. So, for example, if you are a decision maker and you are in a way relying on a tool that decides on your behalf or provide suggestions for your decisions, then you want to be sure, for example, that, so you have to trust this tool, right? So what does it mean, trusting a tool? It means that, for example, you need to have an explanation on why he has taken some decision. So an explanation of its behavior, an explanation, for example, of a classification that he gave, of a prediction that he gave, or a decision that he suggests, then you want to have an explanation. Second, you want to be, for example, sure that this behavior of your system is verifiable, that it is conformant to specific properties that you want to enforce in your domain, and also it should be robust. So it should be have a behavior that is predictable in different situations. So in general, for trusting, even a person, this person should, in a way, behave in a way that is conformant with what are your, for example, ethical principle, with your values in general, and this is what trustworthy AI means. No, so boiling it down into practice. For example, as I was telling you, in decision support system, when you take a decision, you want to be sure that this decision can be explained to a human expert that has the real knowledge on a specific problem and decides at the end. So, for example, if you have, I don't know, like a deep learning system that provides you a classification of medical images between those containing cancer cells and one that is not containing cancer cells, you want also an explanation of why it has given a specific diagnosis out of an image and why or why it didn't. So you can bring an explanation to the expert to explain why the system has given a specific diagnosis, for example, at the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so thank you. My question is answered.
Okay, so
anybody else in the moment? No. So
We don't have more questions, so I will go further. So the vision for AI4EU as the AI on demand platform. So given the priority areas that we have identified before, we wanted to understand how the AI on demand platform can help in doing that. And basically, the first thing is the community building part. So the AI on demand platform is meant to bring together all AI stakeholders, all AI resources in a single dedicated place that is a one-stop shop for AI technology. Overcoming what is the fragmentation, basically, that I was mentioning before. Also the AI4EU platform will function as a kind of marketplace where you can find resources, community networking services for connecting needs with offer, I mean demand and offer. For concern the startups, the AI on demand platform will help to boost technology transfer because it will put together SMEs, startups, and research centers and large companies to basically provide access to expert tools, algorithms, computing power, to enable SMEs to have access to also these assets that can be used in their businesses. For what concerns European values, AI4EU, the AI4EU project has been asked by the Commission to, and this is another link with the document of the high-level expert group, has asked the AI4EU project, and in particular the part concerning the ethical, legal, cultural, social, and societal issues, to take these guidelines identified for trustworthy AI and go into companies to ask whether these points that have been identified in the high-level expert group guidelines can be translated and can be supported by specific companies. So if they think that these are important for their business or not. So we are doing as AI4EU some deep dives that basically with interviews with companies, large and also small and medium enterprises, to understand if these ethical guidelines can be converted in something which is concrete for their business. Technology, so AI4EU on demand platform fosters 5 lines of fosters human-centered AI research, and basically it covers 5 points. One is explainability, so an AI system should be able to explain, and this is also goes in the direction of trustworthy AI. It should be possible to verify its fundamental properties, so it should be verifiable. It should be able to cooperate with the human expert, to share knowledge with them, to make decisions collaboratively. It should be able to integrate different AI methods and tools to capture human knowledge from data, and should be safely embedded in some physical world. So it's this physical AI. And all these 5 topics that concern technology are developed in AI4EU and are also linked with the legal, socio-economic, cultural, and ethical requirements. And they go under the umbrella of human-centered artificial intelligence. So for what concerns technology uptake, the AI4EU platform will develop in a way, we plan to develop a virtual circle where research, public institutions and the companies, can combine their efforts into the development of these products based on AI that can become, in a way, usable, easily accessible for all these stakeholders. And finally, for what concerns talents and skill, the platform could really help the improvement in the accessibility to AI-related material, like online courses, papers, use cases, and also some use cases of usage of tools, demos, that can be then accessed also by for courses, for tutorials, advanced tutorial on specific techniques. So indeed, I mean, the platform can really become a focal point where we can upload and download these online material, but also can help in the recruitment process by trying to identify which is a better definition of jobs for offices of human resources in different companies. And we will partner for that with the DIH, for working around skilling and reskilling of workers that is needed for this changing environment that we are living in. Okay, so I think that this is basically the end of the vision document, and now let me concentrate a little bit on the next steps where I really hope that you can contribute to. So the next steps are that we start from this vision document. We will collect comments, feedbacks, inputs on the AI on Demand platform, on the discussion. We will create also some more structured survey for asking people what do they think about specific topics that will be inserted in the strategic research and innovation agenda, so the document that will come after this vision document. And for this, we will input our all these feedback. We'll try to consolidate them in and input them to this strategic research and innovation agenda. So we will have a workshop in Venice in January. It will be the AI4EU General Assembly, but I think that we can open also this workshop to the general public if you are interested in, at least remotely, for collecting feedback on a preliminary table of content of the strategic research and innovation agenda, so you can provide us your ideas, your comments, and your suggestions on the definition of the strategic research and innovation agenda. Also, as I was telling you, we are talking very closely to the Commission to try to understand what can be useful for them, what could be a document that is useful for them, and also we plan to interact with all the other strategic initiatives in Europe, like I mean the public-private partnership, BDVA, Eurobotics, like the bottom-up communities like Claire, Ellis, with human AI that are bottom-up initiatives. I mean, human AI is now is a CSA, a coordination and support action. So we will try to glue and collect their view on how the platform can be useful for them and for their purposes. So covering research, the research community, the industrial community, and most importantly, the public sector. I think it's all.
Okay, thank you very much. Please ask questions. I think it's super interesting.
If you want to remove my control, I mean, Sonia, if you want to add something.
I remove your control, me, Carmen, so I can go, because now we're going to the last questions, but I also want to show you this. So here, I have a question from, one moment, I'll show you the last. You see my screen? What is the AI4EU Web Cafe? You see it?
No.
No. Okay. No. Should be? No. On air showing screen.
Yes.
Yes, super. yeah, no, it doesn't go so quick. One cannot go quicker because it's due to all the webinar screen. Yes, and the question is, again, Francesco, he asked following question, how do you think, a moment, I have to unlock it, it's all a little bit slow. 2 of the most active countries in AI machine learning are European, but not European member states. He says UK and Israel. I must disagree, but how do you intend to integrate those geographically close countries that are in our activities? Basically, close countries that have a strong exchange with the EU member states without your strategy. Anybody wants to answer?
Wow, so I mean, UK at the moment is still here. No, I mean, so the thing is that no, I mean, we will in AI4EU we have a connection with the member states through a national contact point. So all the contact points that are within the AI4EU platform and the AI4EU project will be kept in closer loop for the development of the strategic research and innovation agenda. We didn't do that for the vision document because the time was too small, but we plan to engage with them. So, and there is certainly one in UK, not sure if it is in Israel.
Okay. And here comes Nicola. Nicola from Moyes from the Future Society. What kind of contribution would be most useful to advance the current situation? What can civil society and think tanks do to help?
What kind of contribution would be the most useful to advance the current situation? So the current situation about it's not very clear. I mean, sorry,
yes. It's from Nicola, most from the Future Society. Maybe you want
is
to.
Is it meant? Just a question: is it meant contributions to advance the adoption and the vision of AI, or is it what contributions are most useful for coming up with the next 3-year document? So that is not very clear.
Yes, I think, Nicola, if you hear us asking your question, maybe you raise the hand and we could give you the mic to explain it better, because, or write it. And I will now go to the next, and maybe if you feel like making it more clear.
I mean, I can answer on the one interpretation of the question.
So how saying about AI4EU platform?
About AI4EU platform, exactly.
So to help, of course, so I think that the AI4EU platform should reach at some point also the public in general, okay, civil society, citizens in general. And specifically one thing that could be developed or could be linked, because we don't have really to reinvent different, things that are already there. But for example, having a course like the one that I was explaining you before, like Elements of AI, is something that the platform can for sure do for the citizen. So one thing that could be done on the other way around is to try to understand, for example, what are the requirements for an effective communication to civil society. So because people that are not expert in AI, of course, need a completely different language for explaining concepts. And if instead, if you see these Elements of AI course, the Finnish one is really well done, because it goes directly it goes with a language which is very clear, very easy to follow. So basically these are requirements that come from from interacting with the civil society. And I'm sure that they have done a lot of this interaction with people that are not aware or are not expert in this field, to understand if that was something that they were understanding, and that could be understandable for a person that does not have I mean, preparation and background in this field, I think. I don't know if you want Sonia to add something else.
I think Annibal was okay. Nicholas is okay. I think we answered this question.
There is also another one that is interesting here. Maybe I can read it.
Read it.
So again, Francesco, I mean, thank you, Francesco. You are very active. Francesco Kenzi. I don't know which is your affiliation, but I mean, if you want to write it down, then we can say also your affiliation. So the thing is that an often encountered difficulty and very time-consuming activity of platform is the quality control of the various content. How will AI4EU address this issue? How does the quality check looks like? I mean, this is something that is very important, for which I mean, we are not involved in the development of the platform, so I have to say that I can just report what has been said in the executive board, where people that are developing the platform are sitting. So the thing is that there will be, I think, two parts. One is a part where there will be a very strong quality control of tools and assets, and this will be done, I mean, during the time where these tools will be uploaded. There will be a very strong quality check and quality control to ensure that these products and tools are stable, that are I mean, that are of high quality. There will be also another, and there is a publication process with very detailed steps that is ensuring that. This quality. On the other side, we have been suggested by the researchers, by other communities, that one very nice way to enrich the platform is to engage students, engage, I mean, PhD students, practitioners that really want to develop specific tools and that want to play with the platform, and they will create, I think, another set of tools that will be, I mean, there will be a lower quality check, quality control, and only in case that these tools will pass the high quality control, then can be translated in the other part of the platform. But this is something that is very new, because we discussed just in the last executive board. For the moment, the quality control is very tight, and it will be provided by a publication process. But this is nothing to do with with the research agenda, indeed.
Thank you. And here another question. We are soon ending this whole together web cafe, but as long questions are coming in, we are still here for 5 to 10 minutes. So the next question is Jose Maria Sonico. I do not know from which organization you are. So the question is, any plans to include in the platform curated data sets to facilitate companies experimenting on real data? I know some data might raise privacy issues, but there are many others. For example, time series data associated to industrial malfunctioning, etc. Who likes to take the question?
I mean, I think so. I think that there will be yeah, there will be some data sets that will be shared, even I think curated data sets that will be shared for creating kind of benchmarks in the platform. I mean, I think that this is more a question that you have to do in a web cafe concerning the platform. But yeah, I mean, I think so. I think that there will be some data set for creating benchmarks. Maybe Alessandro, you know something. Alessandro is connected, I see, but is not able to say anything. So if we can give Carmen, if we can give Alessandro maybe.
Alessandro has the microphone. If he wants to speak, he can.
Yes, I am unmuted. Hello, everybody. But I think what Michela said is just all what we know at this moment. There will be provisions in the platform for data sets and benchmarks, but the details are still under discussion. The real first fully functional version of the platform is scheduled in January 2020. So at that point, you will see exactly what can be there and what not.
Thank you. So if you raise your hands, I could put you on, but I think the question is answered. Thank you, Alessandro. So, and I also don't see other questions come in. So I think we're slowly, and maybe I, as the moderator of these cafes, can say we have always cafes on different themes. And in January, exactly when we finally, the platform has more content, more tools, more data, we will especially make cafe sessions only on this, how to use the platform, what is exactly on it. And we put all the experts who are involved in it on it, so you can ask all kind of detailed questions, and it will be recorded, so anybody can easily find what's on, and also how to use it, no? How to find something. So it's a big request, but we will do this in 2020. In the moment, it's more about general AI sessions and strategic vision documents as today. And that leads me to my last slide, because we are ending slowly here our cafe. The last slide is that I invite you already in 2 days to the next cafe session, which will be on artificial intelligence, a rupture technology for innovation. And this time speaker is James L. Crowley, professor from INRIA and University Grenoble Alpes, also researcher in INRIA and professor in Grenoble. You can find the registration data on the AI4EU platform. You can also just contact me directly if you didn't get it. And here you see it also. It's also in the PowerPoint. So, and that brings me to the last thing. If you feel a topic is needed to be discussed, if you feel like to be a speaker, also contact me, please. And thank you for joining today. You will get an email afterwards with the recording link and with all the information, like this link to the vision document and so on. I think, thank you, Michela. Thank you, Sonia. You want to say something?
Thank you, Carmen, for organizing this.
Yes,
Thank you.
Thank you. We are all here in holidays. I'm from Cologne. Today is Carnival, no? It's like the 11/11. And Michela is from Italy. There's also a holiday, and all our French people have holidays, and many other people have holiday. And if you still are here, it's great. So also thank you for this. And see you soon, and thank you, and bye-bye for today.
Bye. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.